All right, the court is calling 2025 CR 004-128, State versus Simon Alexander Garza. Can I have parties announced?
Jason Gearhead for the state, Your Honor.
Marissa Giavico and Clarissa Pratt for Mr. Garza.
And are you Mr. Garza?
Yes.
All right, defense has filed a motion for bond reduction. The bond is currently set at $150,000. They're asking that the bond be reduced to $50,000.
Here comes the tension. The defense wants to drop a $150,000 bond down to $50,000. That's not a small ask, especially in a case involving a fatal crash. But the big question is, will the judge think this 21-year-old deserves a shot? Or is public safety at risk?
Is there an agreement?
No, there's not.
All right. Defense, you may present whatever evidence you wish to present to the court.
Thank you, Judge. I'd just like to call my client, Simon Garza.
All right, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Simon Alexander Garza.
All right, you may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. Simon, how old are you?
I'm 21.
Can you tell
Simon says he had a job starting the very next day after his arrest and was on track to become a certified medical assistant. Could this timeline show he was turning his life around? Or is it just convenient timing for court sympathy?
the judge a little bit about where you're at in your life at work?
I just finished a clinical medical assistant program. I'm a certified medical assistant now. I was going to start my job the day after I had gotten arrested. I was also preparing to study for the EKG exam. My family's here in San Antonio. I have a fiance. I've just recently been engaged, and I'm seeking to marry her soon.
Are you from San Antonio?
Yes.
And you mentioned you had gotten a job. Where was your job?
Texas San Antonio Orthopedic Group.
Arrested spontaneously, or did you turn yourself in?
I received a call and I went willingly.
So you turned yourself in?
Yeah.
Okay. And have you ever been arrested before?
No, never.
Okay. And the incident that you were arrested on, when do you know when they're alleging it took place?
I believe October 13th of 2023.
2023?
Yeah.
So it's been approximately almost 2 years, but a year and a half?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you been arrested since this incident?
I have not.
Okay. And were you arrested or told that charges were coming on the day of the scene, or the day of the incident?
I was not.
Pay attention here. Simon has no kids, lives with his mom, and says he doesn't drink or do drugs. This is a classic defense: portraits, stable, sober, rooted in the community. But is that enough when someone died in the crash?
Did you have a driver's license on that day?
Yes.
Do you still have your driver's license?
Yes.
Do you drink alcohol?
I don't.
Do you do any drugs?
I don't.
Do you have any kids?
I don't.
Okay. What family do you have here?
I have my mother, all my siblings. My father's passed away. I have all of my uncles and cousins as well.
And your fiance lives here?
Yes, my fiance and her family as well.
Okay. And if you were to get out, where would you live?
With my mother.
Okay. Is your fiance living with your mother too, or just?
She's living with her mother.
Okay. And do you know if you still have your job at the?
I was told that I'm able to reapply and work as soon as I'm available.
Okay. The current bond is set at $150,000.
Here comes the curveball. The prosecution brings up a speeding ticket just 2 weeks after the fatal crash. It's not a criminal charge, but judges can still factor in behavior like this when assessing bond. What do you think? Bad luck or bad judgment?
Are you able to make that bond?
I'm not.
Have you and your family tried to make that bond?
We've attempted.
Okay. You've called bond company?
Yes.
Okay. Do you own a home?
I don't.
Okay. Does your fiance own a home?
She does not.
Do you have any vehicles or any other property that you could sell?
I don't.
If the judge were to reduce the bond to $50,000, do you think that you would be able to make that bond?
I think that'd be, yeah, I'd be able to make that.
I'll pass the witness.
Yes, sir. You stated that you had not been arrested or anything since this incident happened. On October 31st, 2023, we pulled over for speeding 86 miles an hour into 70.
I believe
Yeah, I'm not objecting. It goes beyond the scope. A speeding ticket is not an arrest.
No, that objection will be overruled. I understand what you're saying, that it's not arrest, though.
And I'm just asking if he was stopped for that, not whether he's convicted or not. So at that time, you had a vehicle, is that correct?
it was not my own.
Because I'm assuming that just the vehicle that you were driving on October 13th, 2023 was totaled in the incident. So after you allegedly have sped just 2 weeks after this actual incident happened, is that correct?
Judge, I'm not objecting. It goes beyond the scope of a bond hearing.
Well, with regards to the speeding. So my understanding of the question, and correct me if I'm wrong, the question is whether or not he was speeding, and that speeding incident is unrelated to the facts of this case. Am I correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right. So in considering bond, I have to consider safety of the community. So with regards to his speeding and allegedly, and saying that he was going 83 miles per hour, then the court needs to hear that. So the court will hear that. I don't think it's beyond, and I'm finding that it's not beyond the scope of this. State understands that they're not to get into the facts of this case, but in regards to the speeding, the state is allowed to ask or ascertain that you have the speeding, and then this is alleged to have occurred after the speeding. So that's as far as I'll allow the state to question him about the facts of the case. You may continue.
And Judge, I'll move on. I mean, since I believe I've already presented to the court of the community's safety reasons. Now, you say you have family, probably friends here. Have you gone about trying to borrow any money? Have you gone about having any type of raising money for you to actually make this bond at all?
We have.
And how much have you raised?
I'm not sure that the actual.
Okay. And then in this current case, you're aware that you're charged with manslaughter, correct?
Yes,
And you're aware that somebody has died.
This is critical. Simon didn't run. He stayed at the crash, helped victims, and could have been arrested on the spot. That's a powerful image for the defense, not a criminal fleeing, but a young man standing by. Does that affect your view?
And any other assets, for instance, how do you get around, or before you were arrested, how were you getting around town?
I was taking the bus for a while, and then somebody had offered me a vehicle to use.
And I'm so sorry, could you speak up a little bit so I can hear?
That way, so the judge.
I was taking the bus for a while, and then somebody had offered me a vehicle to use.
So currently you have access to vehicles or a vehicle, and you are driving here in Bexar County, Texas. Not currently, obviously you're in jail, but I mean, I'm saying previous to your arrest.
Previous to my arrest, I did have limited access to it.
No further questions, John.
Just very brief follow-up. Simon, how long have you been in custody?
About a month.
Okay. And on the day of the incident, you were still on the scene when police arrived, correct?
Yes.
And in fact, you were assisting with the crash and the victims.
Yes, I was.
So you didn't flee the scene. Police had an opportunity to arrest you if they wanted to.
That's right.
Nothing further, Judge.
All right. Any further witnesses?
No, Judge, we rest. Just
Any other evidence, state?
Not from the state.
All right.
We would ask for the court. Yeah.
I can make it.
You can stipulate to that.
And there it is. The prosecution confirms video shows Simon allegedly ran a red light, T-boned the victim's car, and someone died. No drugs, no alcohol. Just one tragic decision at an intersection. Should that reduce his liability or make it worse?
Well, I can stipulate the facts if you like. Yeah. Would you like me? Jerry, you can.
Just for the record, this was a vehicle accident. The police, they're alleging that a red light was ran and then there was a crash. That is the totality, I believe, of the facts that you need to know if the state. Yeah, no alcohol, no drugs. They didn't even do field sobriety tests. The officer put in his report that he had no suspicions that our client was under the influence. If the state has any discrepancies or anything to add to the facts.
Nothing. I mean, that's a very general rendition of the facts, obviously,
Right.
Judge. And it's a red light, allegedly a red light that the defendant had, and that the victim and the occupants in that vehicle were turning left onto a road with a green light. And there is video of it that was shown to defense counsel this morning. And the driver